Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Thames Water webinar this afternoon. To introduce myself, I am Michelle Berry. I am the Graduate Programme Manager at Thames Water. Have been here for about 4.5 years and worked in a couple of different areas and now look after the graduate programme. Really delighted to say we've got Harris with us this afternoon. Harris, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name's Harris Hafiz. I'm currently on the Finance Graduate Programme and I was part of the 2020 graduate cohort. I'm currently working in Operations Finance as a Finance Business Partner for the Operations Service Centre. And yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Over to you, Jess.
Hi everyone, my name's Jess, and like Harris, I joined on the grad scheme in October 2020. I'm on the science pathway, so for my first placement, I'm working as part of the DWI transformation programme on the water quality side of the business. Over to Emma.
Thanks, Jess. Hi everybody, I'm Emma Goldsmith. I'm one of the apprentice and upskilling consultants working at Thames for many years. In, again, slightly different parts of the business, but I've been managing the apprenticeship programme for the last 2 or 3 years. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. So the plan for this afternoon is to talk to you a little bit about Thames and what we do, give you a little overview of both our apprentice and graduate programmes, tell you a little bit about the recruitment process so you have an idea of kind of what to expect. And then lots of opportunities for you to ask questions of Jess and Harris and any other questions you might have. So if we can go to the slides, that would be brilliant. So to start with, I wanted just to share with you our big picture. So essentially, this is Thames Water in a nutshell. So I just want to really draw your attention to that purpose statement at the top. I personally find this ridiculously motivating and a reason to get up every single day. So our purpose is to deliver life's essential service so our customers, communities and the environment can thrive. We are key workers. We have been out throughout the whole of this pandemic, delivering clean water to our customers and treating wastewater and returning it back to the environment safely. Quite simply put, without life, there is no water. Got that around the wrong way. Without water, there is no life. And it just really, when you work for Thames, it gets into your blood very quickly. The second thing I wanted to point out to you on the screen at the moment is our values. So you'll see our values there. There are 6 of them. Be proud, be blue, take care, take ownership, reach higher, be better, passionate about everything we do, and be respectful and value everyone. And these values, I'm sure Jess and Harris and Emma would agree, are pretty embedded in the organisation. So they weren't created by any management consultants or anything like that. They were created 7-8 years ago by employees from all different levels, from all different areas of the business. And when we're looking for our graduates and our apprentices, we really want to see these values in all stages of your application. I did speak to a graduate who's now in his 2nd year recently, and he described his blood as being blue now, not red. And that's obviously a real link to that be proud, be blue value. Okay, over to you, Emma, I think.
Thanks, Michelle. So before we talk to you about our graduate and apprentice opportunities, I'd like to share with you an insight into how Thames Water ensure that we continue to deliver life's essential service while supporting our customers, communities and the environment.
As our world changes, the need to take care of our most precious resource is greater than ever, both locally and globally. That's why at Thames Water, every one of our actions, big and small, matters every day. Water's essential to daily life, and that means our business is always open. We're passionate about providing world-class tap water, now and for the future. To overcome the challenges of our growing population and our unpredictable weather, we're investing for the future, replacing hundreds of miles of pipes, rolling out smart technology, and investing £1 million a day on our network to prevent leaks. We're also sharing our know-how so that we can all care for water together. And caring for our customers never stops. We're keeping bills flat until 2025 and providing discounts for thousands of families that need help the most. We're privileged to be part of the communities we serve. Many of our sites are open for people to enjoy, including the largest urban wetlands in Europe. We're improving the health of one of the world's most famous rivers with an engineering feat that digs deeper than anything else under London. And inspiring future generations to care about water as much as we do by meeting every school child in our region and hosting free visits at our very own education centres. We're turning poo into power, self-generating 20% of the energy we use, and in turn, doing our bit for the planet. Reducing plastic waste by celebrating our tap water and rolling out an ambitious water fountain project. Using our voice to lobby for change, and partnering with WaterAid to provide clean water to the world's poorest communities. Together, we're building a better future for our customers, our region, and our planet.
Hopefully that gives you a flavour and an insight into Thames Water and what an exciting place it is to work. Myself, I've worked here for 19 years and I must say it's been a fantastic 19 years. So I do encourage you to rewatch that video. I think it's really impactful and insightful. So now I want to talk to you specifically about apprenticeships. So what is an apprenticeship? I think we may take it for granted that people actually know what an apprenticeship is and what the offering is. Back in 2017, there was a complete reform of apprenticeships where lots of different organisations combined together to rewrite the standards to make sure there was some consistency around how we deliver our apprenticeships. So what is an apprenticeship? An apprenticeship combines practical training in employment with study and encourages individuals to earn while you learn. An apprenticeship allows individuals to work alongside experienced colleagues to gain specific skills, knowledge and behaviour. Those three words are key: skills, knowledge and behaviour. That is how the apprenticeship standards are written. By combining those with work-based employment and training, of which 20% means off the job. What do we mean by off-the-job training? So that could be anything from shadowing your manager, shadowing your mentor, attending a workshop, and completing some different training that is aligned to the apprenticeship standard that you will be completing. So off-the-job training equates to approximately 1 day per week, which gives individuals work towards obtaining job-specific skills and a national recognised qualification. So that mentions 1 day per week. That's not set in stone. So that could be a half day, a couple of half days throughout that week. It's important to know that it may differ depending on the pathway that you complete. And then I just wanted to focus on the different levels of apprenticeships. Again, back when they were reformed in 2017, we wanted to make sure that it was really clear what you were signing up for, as not only as a candidate, as a potential apprentice, but also from a training provider and an employer perspective. So there are 6 different levels of apprenticeships, ranging from level 2 to level 7. So if we focus on level 2, that's based at an intermediate level, and that equates to 5 GCSEs. Level 3, that's an advanced apprenticeship, and that's the equivalent to 2 A-levels. Level 4 is a higher apprenticeship. Level 5 is a degree, foundation degree. And level 6 and 7, again, are both degrees, 1 bachelor and 1 master's. Next slide, please, Michelle. Thank you. So moving on to specific Thames Water Apprentice programmes for 2021. What opportunities do we currently have available? So we have 4 different levels, 7 different programmes that we are offering this year. So focusing on the first one, so level 3, we are the only water utility organisation that actually offers a level 3 dual skilled programme. So when we say dual skilled, that's either mechanical, electrical, or electrical ICA. That programme is currently under review. We're still offering a dual skilled programme, but the actual delivery of that programme is under review. But what I can tell you is you'd be based at one of our 3 different operational sites. That could be a water production site, a waste network site, or a waste treatment site. Whilst you're at that site, you'll be maintaining assets, fixing pumps, electrical circuits, motors. More importantly, you'll always be working with your mentor who will support you through that journey. Moving on to level 4, this is a new programme for us this year. So we're offering a level 4 automation and control pathway. So if you were to apply for this programme, you'd be based at our Reading sewage treatment site in Island Road. You'd be working with our operational technology team. You'd be on a rotation system where you'd be working across both waste and water services using multiple technologies, including SCADA, PLC, Profibus, and you'd be attending Basingstoke College to gain that qualification. Moving on to level 6, so we currently have 3 different level 6 opportunities. The first one being in our labs, which are based in Spencer House in Reading. So it's a level 6 qualification. You'd be attending Greenwich University 1 day per week, and you'd be supporting the chemistry team. Part of that role will be analysing samples, using the latest technology, and working with our water samplers to ensure our quality is the best it can be. Moving on to our second level 6 opportunity, that is for our process engineer role. The disciplines for that particular role is mechanical electrical. You'd be based in our head office at Clearwater Court in Reading. You'd be attending Newbury College. Within that role, you would be assessing and assisting site asset surveys. You'd be developing drawings from the CAD system and analysing plant operations data to inform us of any critical changes we need to be making. And then finally, our final level 6 research scientist position. This role is based in Kempton with a chemical discipline. You'd be attending Greenwich University for this particular opportunity. You'd be working in our research and development and innovation team. This is a core part of our business. They are always tackling complex business challenges, which underpins any improvements we may need to make, not only in asset performance, reducing risk, and achieving more efficiency. And then finally, level 7, this is a new programme for us this year. So we are looking at recruiting systems engineer at level 7, working in our asset engineering team. So within this particular role, you would be writing technical reports, working with our current engineers on policies and strategies and ways to develop methods using and implementing new systems architecture. That role is also based at Reading Sewage Treatment Works in Island Road. So the couple of things that underpin all of those opportunities is they will be a blended learning approach, a combination of block release, day release, dependent on the pathway. One thing's for sure, you will always have lots of support. So whether that's with your manager or with your mentor, you'll have a full induction to the programme and to the business. And finally, I wanted to focus on the WaterAid fundraising opportunities. I'm a part of the event and fundraising committee for Thames Water, and we work very closely with WaterAid, supporting them in the brilliant charity that they are. Apprentices have been involved historically with setting up tournaments, getting involved with a raft race, just before lockdown last year, we were organising a paintballing tournament, which was a shame that we didn't manage to do that. But we are hopefully planning some more activities at the end of this year. But it's a great way for apprentices, managers, mentors to work together, to network, to get to know each other, and more importantly, to have fun and raise money for a fantastic charity. Next slide, Michelle. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emma. What brilliant opportunities we have in our apprenticeships. There are questions coming in thick and fast. Jess and Harris are trying to respond to as many as possible, but we will be coming along to them at the end of today's session, and we will answer as many as we can. So the graduate programme. So I took over the graduate programme back in 2019. And I've really loved working with our graduates. We have 4 established pathways, which you can see on the screen here. So I'm just going to talk you through those and then briefly talk to you about the new opportunities we have for our 2021 cohort who will be joining us in September. So first of all, we have our operations learning to lead pathway. Can't squeeze that all in, so it just says operations. But essentially, this is if you want to become an operational people manager. And in this programme, you need to be prepared to be based maybe as far across in the east of our region, so in the Dartford area, all the way across to where I am in Swindon in the west. And you'll spend 2 years doing 2 placements. Your first placement might be what we would call above ground, so in water production or in wastewater treatment. And then you'd swap over, and in your second year, you will go from waste to water or water to waste, whichever way you started, and go to below ground, so looking more at the network side of our business. Really good opportunity to don your PPE, get on out there, start taking line manager responsibilities. And in your second year, we've got grads who are now managing small teams of network service technicians and so on. So if you're interested in line management, that's the one for you. Science. So our science pathway, we have a number of scientific services within Thames Water. And as part of this programme, you'll spend 3 8-month placements exploring those areas. And you might be in the clean side of the business, looking at drinking water quality or our catchments. You might go into the waste side and be looking at permitting. And you also might spend time in our UK leading labs that we have based in Reading. And as part of this process, a part of this pathway, we really encourage you to and sponsor you through the process of becoming a registered scientist or environmentalist, that first step to becoming chartered. Our engineering programme, thirdly, has 3 8-month placements in it as well. Again, we are sponsoring, supporting you to become chartered. We know that takes 4 or 5 years minimum, but we really want you to make a really good start on the graduate programme. You will do 3 placements there. So 1 placement, I put specialism, and we are looking for civil engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers. I'm sure there's going to be some I'm going to forget, environmental engineers, and I think there's 1 more. So you will spend time in that area, and engineering is something that we're really bringing back in-house at the moment. So our engineering teams are expanding, and you as graduates make a part of that. You'll spend some time in project definition and also some time in our capital delivery function, and that gives you a really good overarching view of engineering at Thames. If you are interested in our finance pathway, that is a slightly longer programme than all of the others. It is 3 years to really give you that time to become a finance business partner like Harris, but also to study and work towards those accounting qualifications, either with the ACA, with CIMA or the ACCA. No matter what pathway you are interested in, these ones or the ones I'm going to show you in a second, there are core elements for everybody. We really want you as a cohort to come together. You may well be a finance grad, but we're going to put you in teams working with science, engineering and operations grads. We're going to ask you to undertake a number of personal development opportunities. We're going to have Q&A sessions with our leaders across the business. We run a mentoring workshop, so you really understand what it's like for you to be a good mentee, and then how to find someone who can mentor you, particularly through that chartership process, but for other reasons as well. Post-COVID, we will be running Business Connect Days. Again, this gives you an opportunity to step out of your pathway and understand the whole of the business. So spend time in our customer experience function, for example. And just as Emma was mentioning with WaterAid, we hope and we encourage our graduates to take part in WaterAid fundraising, and we do that through the Global Winnovators programme, which is an employee development. I'm going to call it is a programme, but I'm going to call it a competition. I'm a little bit competitive, and we put you into teams, and that is a challenging project to be part of, but immensely rewarding. So those are our current pathways. We have new pathways for 2021. We are expanding our graduate programme, which is great news. So some of this I can't speak in as much detail as I have around the first set of pathways, because these are still very much programmes in development. So we are going to have a digital pathway from September 2021. Digital is an area where we again have been insourcing a lot more. There's a lot of innovation going on in that programme, particularly in the DevOps space and in Data Factory. You will spend 2 one-year placements exploring those areas. In commercial and procurement, we have got spaces, opportunities for 2 graduates taking place, with 2 placements either in group procurement, commercial assurance, capital delivery, procurement, supply management, and we will sponsor you and support you through working towards being qualified in the M6 qualification. We also have a couple more opportunities, one for asset systems planners in water and in waste, so really working in our asset management division. And we also have opportunities in hydraulic modelling too. As I said, these programmes are very much in design and will be ready for you in the next couple of months to be able to tell you more. Okay, so if you are interested in any of those opportunities from an apprentice or a graduate perspective, this is the timeline, the all-important timeline. So graduate opportunities went live on the 11th of January, and we were flooded with applications, thrilled with the number of applications, but there's still time if you haven't pressed submit yet. Our apprentices opened on the 18th of January, and there's lots of action going on this week because of National Apprentice Week. And then next Tuesday, our graduate applications close. So they close on the 16th of January. So your job, if you're interested in us, is to get your application in before then, ready to start the next stage of the process. Once your application is in, you will go through some pre-screening, and that will be around right to work, but also motivational screening. So think about that purpose that we talked about right at the start of today's webinar, those values. How can you show that you're going to be proud, be blue, reach higher, be better in your application? From a graduate perspective and from an apprentice perspective, there are some online tests that we will ask you to complete as part of that. So from a graduate perspective, there is an inductive reasoning test that all graduates will have to take. I'm sure Harris and Jess will remember that. And for finance, there's also a numerical reasoning test. For apprentices, it's a mechanical competence test. Is that right, Emma?
Yes.
Perfect, she's nodding. Once that stage is complete and you're able to progress to the next stage, we have our video or telephone interviews. So video for grads and telephone interviews for our apprentices. From that point on, we will then shortlist to our assessment centres, which, it's COVID, we will be running virtually with our partners. We did do this last year back in June, and it worked really, really well. So don't worry about the fact it might be slightly different to a normal assessment centre. It worked really well. And then should you be successful, get through all of that process, then we will be really excited to welcome you into Thames in September. Is there anything I've missed, Emma?
I don't think so. No, I think maybe it might just be me worth mentioning the Apprentice closing date. We haven't secured a specific closing date yet. At the moment, it's the 28th of February. That could extend, but I would still encourage you to submit your applications over the next couple of weeks.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, so how do you apply? Over to Emma for this one.
Perfect. Thanks, Michelle. So how can you apply? There are lots of different routes into the application process. So I'm just going to pick out a couple here. So Thames Water Careers website, we've got case studies, we've got our up-to-date videos, we've got some blogs, we've got information and application process on our Thames Water Careers website for both the apprentices and the graduate programme. Target Careers, we've got Grad Cracker, Rate My Apprenticeship, .gov.uk for the apprenticeship. That is our huge and biggest pipeline for us. So that's where all of the current nationwide apprenticeship opportunities are all on the .gov.uk, can't say it, website. Not going to uni, and then your university career page will also be another option. So like I say, there's lots of different ways of applying for our opportunities. And one thing I want to focus on is social media. So particularly for National Apprenticeship Week, we currently have a social media takeover. So it's all about apprentices on all of our medias. So that's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. So I would encourage you all to follow us on those social media platforms. That's for anything around graduates, apprentices, and anything from a business perspective. We frequently and regularly update on those platforms.
Fabulous. So I think that's probably enough of me and Emma speaking for now, and we're going to let you hear from some of our apprentices.
Our most precious resource, flowing freely, unrestricted in potential, water is shaped by its environment. And so are we. After all, we are 70% the same. And just as we do with water, we see the potential in people, with real talent, passion and purpose. A powerful current flowing forwards, never looking back.
I feel privileged to have been given the opportunity to get an apprenticeship with Thames Water, and it has allowed me to reach new heights.
I would say an apprenticeship is a really challenging but rewarding way to reach your goals. If you're passionate about the subject you're studying, then it's a great route to go down.
It's a great place, it's a great working environment, you actually want to come to work when you wake up in the morning.
No matter how much information you take in, I don't think you're ever going to stop learning.
Find the perfect balance between theory and practice and be the bright spark amongst the matchsticks. Take the alternative route to learning the ropes, and why not earn as you do? Be challenged, solve problems, be fulfilled and get the job done. Hands-on or behind the scenes, apply your skills and find your team.
My line manager and peers have always given me the support I need to succeed.
I personally applied to university to study a straight undergraduate degree in chemistry, but during my gap year I took some time to research into apprenticeships and thought they were a really good idea.
It is a very exciting job to do, but some days you would have to work in difficult weather conditions like this.
Doing what matters. Providing 15 million people with clean water and sanitation every single day. Respecting, guarding and protecting water resources for future generations. And whilst you take care of our world, we take care of yours. Creating the right environment to help you flourish.
Every day there's something different, whether it's stripping a motor, a pump, or fault finding in an electrical panel.
So I definitely feel like there's a good opportunity to progress over here, whether it's career-wise or academically. If you're willing to put your head down and prove yourself, then there's some good opportunities there.
I'm feeling confident in the fact that one day I can be the best technician that I can be. I'm not letting anyone down and I'm trying my best, and once you always try your best, you will always be rewarded or congratulated and told well done, and it doesn't go unrecognised.
Delivering life's essential service so our customers, communities and the environment can thrive. It's your journey and this is where it begins. Real purpose, real support, real opportunities.
Brilliant. I was just trying to rapidly reply to as many questions as possible during that video, but I absolutely love that video. It came out new last week with our apprentices. There's a grad version too, and it just is a great showcase of our programmes, I think. So it's over to questions. I think we've got 15 minutes. We're going to try and answer as many as we can, but if there are any that we don't get to, please do get in touch via LinkedIn, and we will answer as many as we possibly can. So we did have 3 that were pre-submitted, so we'll start with those and we'll go from there. So the first question I want to ask Jess and Harris, as our resident grads on the call today, was how do you all stay connected whilst working remotely? Definitely a key theme of this year and last.
Hiya. So I guess, as Michelle just said, remote connecting and remote kind of teaming and all that has been really important for us as we've all kind of transitioned to working from home for a big majority of this year. So Thames have been really good in investing in kind of online platforms to help us stay connected. So we use Microsoft Teams all the time for our meetings, our seminars, and even for our kind of casual coffees and meetups that are actually a really important part of our working week. I think it's really important to not only have regular catch up with your colleagues in the formal work sense, but also the informal, check how everyone's doing. It's really important. We're all going through a tough time, so having that capability to stay in touch with our colleagues has been really, really useful. Harris?
Yeah, similar to Jess, just want to echo what she said. So we have Microsoft Teams, and I'm on the finance graduate program. So in terms of finance, we have daily kind of check-ins where we're going through our budgeting and forecasting year-end kind of period. So every day we're kind of just checking up on each other, making sure everything's in kind of aligned with where we're supposed to be. So yeah, Teams has been great, to be fair. And I think about 90% of your time is just on Teams, whether it's meetings or chatting away in regards to work with members of your teams. So yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Next question then was, what was your biggest concern before joining Thames and how do you feel about it now? Great question.
Yeah, that was a really, really great question. I think my biggest concern was, it's going to sound really silly, but feeling like a very, very small fish in a massive pond. I think when you're at uni or you're at college or whatever, you feel as quite a tight-knit community, and to then come into, the biggest water company in the UK feels like the scale is just almost incomprehensible. But I think if any of you are kind of mirroring those emotions right now, I want to dispel that, like right here, right now. I think Harris will probably agree with me that the kind of warmth and the welcoming that we felt when we first arrived was just top level. I feel like we're all really well integrated into our own teams, and the work and the effort that we put in, we're all valued as individuals, and we're never sort of treated as just a grad. Everything I do is really valued, and I feel like a really important member of the company, and the work that I do, I know directly feeds into those values that Michelle spoke about at the beginning of the presentation, which personally is a really, really rewarding thing to be a part of.
Yeah, and just to kind of add on to Jess's point, I feel like as a graduate, you're given a real sense of responsibility right from the get-go. And as a graduate, the business sees you as a future leader of the business. So getting that responsibility straight away is really good for your training and development. So one of my biggest concerns was how much training and development I would actually get, being it all remotely, especially within finance as well. But, we have stuff like Power BI, Excel within finance, and we've got like two-hour time slots within our kind of calendars just to go through Excel and Power BI. So I found that really useful. And with the difficult circumstances that we're all going through, slightly off topic, I just want to add another point. Michelle did really good in terms of getting a site visit for us, which allowed us all to meet each other. So I found that really useful as well. And that was one of my main concerns. Would I get to meet the other graduates or not? Would I get to go to the office or not? And Michelle's really tried her best, especially considering the circumstances that we're currently in. So, yeah.
And there will be more site visits, Harris. As soon as we're able to do it, we want to get you out and about as much as is possible. The final pre-submitted question was, what do you look forward to most in a normal week? Which is a really interesting question. I'm excited to hear the answer to that.
I think, as Harris just said, the fact that we're kind of 4 or 5 months into our placements, and we're already being given quite big responsibilities, and I really enjoy taking on those challenges. I'm kind of leading on some pretty major projects and driving those forward, and I look forward to kind of taking that ownership. And even though it feels like there is pressure, I think the kind of sense of satisfaction that you get at the end of the week when you feed back to your manager, these are all the things that I've achieved this week, and I've done it all on my own, and it feels really really great, really. And I think also learning about the business and the industry is something that I always try to allocate part of my time to. Coming into this, I was completely unaware of everything that really went on, and so having that scope and the flexibility to explore other avenues, other business processes, other teams, doing kind of shadowing and putting time out for seminars and things really allows me to sort of develop my view of the business as a whole, and perhaps kind of allocate that time to career progression. Do I like that kind of thing? Do I not? It just allows my whole kind of day to not at all be stagnant. There's never 2 days that's the same, which I think is a really important thing to highlight.
Yeah, definitely agree with Jess. Similar in finance, no week is the same. 1 week you might be focusing on kind of month-end tasks, and the next week you might have time to yourself. And we have something called Learning on Taps, where we had different courses, and I've been going on there a lot just to find different courses for myself. And it's good for my kind of personal training and development as well. So yeah, I just want to echo what Jess said. And additionally, we have every Tuesday we have like a virtual coffee with all of the other grads, and then we take part in little quizzes. And then in finance on a Friday we have a little quiz as well. So I really do look forward to those, because especially working in a high pressure situation where you're just focusing on work, those 10-15 minutes, half an hour just to take your mind off work really does help, and it's good for your mental well-being as well. And that's something at Thames that we're extremely passionate about, our health and safety and our mental well-being.
Thank you, Harris, for bringing that up. I think you're absolutely right. Mental health and general well-being is really important. And during the pandemic, with so many people working from home, we've got plenty of people out on sites and so on, a lot of people working from home. And it's just really important to check in on people when they're having to homeschool, having to start a team working remotely like Jess and Harris have had to do, that we take that time out and have a little bit of fun, get to know each other a little bit better, and that is just great for teamwork as well. Emma, anything to add, or shall we dive into a few more questions?
I don't think so. I've just got a really good question here that I'm just about to respond to, actually, and I think it's quite an important one. So how are the apprentice programmes affected by the pandemic currently and in the future months to come? So it's a really good question. So I guess as as key workers, Thames Water, we are all key workers currently. So from an operational perspective, it's BAU for us. So which has meant for apprentices that are spending time on our operational sites, they are still able to do that with social distancing, obviously, and making sure we've got all of our health and safety implications and everything else in place. There has been a slight disruption from a college perspective, as you would imagine, as they have been closed for some time. So from September, we've had a fair few closures, but the colleges have been brilliant in terms of very quickly moving to a virtual delivery. All of our apprentices are given mobile phones and laptops from the day they start the business. So it's meant very quickly that we've been able to adapt to that virtual delivery, with the hope that we will be able to move to that face-to-face delivery over the coming months. So great question. But I think as a business, like I say, because we are key workers and because we deliver that life's essential service, it's very much BAU activity for us in the safest way.
Thanks, Emma. I'm just going back to some of the questions that are in the chat, and I'm going to hopefully direct some of these around. We've got 4 minutes left, haven't we? So we'll go through as many as we can. So James has asked, is there anything to do with plumbing in Thames Water? Emma, is that one for you?
Potentially. I think I've responded to a separate question from that individual. No, that's fine. But actually, in all honesty, plumbing is not something that we actually actively look for from an apprenticeship perspective. You would think naturally that we would in the business that we do, but actually the level 3, I think I've responded, but the level 3 would be the entry level for that type of kind of technical role, but specific plumbing is not a current pathway that we offer.
Brilliant, thank you, Emma. Billy, I can see, I'll take this one. You've asked if there are any roles in HR as a graduate. There aren't at the moment, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a way to transition into HR from one of those programmes. Our people director, for example, Lynn Graham, used to be an operational manager and in a different company, and is now our head of the people function. So you don't always have to start straight into HR to move into HR. Sarah said, do you accept freshly graduated electrical and electronic engineers? Yes, absolutely we do. I'm just going through a few more. How many spaces are available on the apprenticeship programme, Emma?
Okay, so 27 overall. I can break those down if that's easier. So 19 available in the level 3 mechanical, electrical, ICA dual skilled programme. And in terms of a geographical area, that covers our whole patch. That's 19 across. 2 for the automation. I've got to think memory now. And then 2 for labs, and then 1 for each of the other programmes. So 27 in total for this year.
Brilliant. Thank you for clarifying that, Emma. I can see a great question around Thames Water thinking of becoming energy neutral, producing 100% of energy they need to use. I might go across to Jess for that. Is that possible?
I don't know. I'm not sure I'm the right person to answer that.
That's okay. I can take it if necessary.
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay, that's fine. So yes, our new CEO, Sarah Bentley, is really committed to becoming carbon neutral, and we already generate around 23% of our own energy needs, either through poo power or through our solar farms and turbines, and we want to do more of that. Obviously, that makes us more efficient as a business, but also more environmentally sound. There's one here which I am going to give to Jess. Sorry, Jess. What types of procedures are done in the science sector, particularly in laboratories? But what kinds of things are you seeing and knowing that your fellow science grads do?
Yeah, so we work across the whole of scientific services, and there are currently 6 of us on the scheme, and none of us are doing the same thing. And I think that, and I don't think any of us ever will do the same thing, because there are just there's so many things that the Science Grad Scheme covers that, like I was saying earlier, no 2 things are the same. So currently I work in the water quality side of the business, so I'm working on the transformation programme. I know that there's another graduate who works in the labs. We've got another graduate who works in water quality, but in a more of a field scientist role. And then we have 3, I think, who are more on the waste side of the business, looking at kind of flow modeling and environmental regulations and permitting and all that kind of thing. So in terms of what goes on in the labs, I haven't had any first-hand experience as yet, but I know that Andy is involved. She goes into the lab, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. She's really involved in that kind of thing. And from my side, what we do is, I know that we have regular sampling. So we have sampling technicians who take samples from across the water industry. So right through from, you know, our rivers, our inlets to our treatment works, through every single stage of the treatment work, out the other end, they go to customer taps, and they go right through to the sewage treatment works. And there's that whole stream of samples that all goes to the labs, where it's tested for all sorts of chemicals, kind of nitrates, phosphates, metals, and even like microbiology and things like that. So I know that our lab environments, our labs are kind of top tier, top level, certainly in this area, possibly even the country, possibly even Europe, I think Graham may have suggested. So it's a really interesting field to be a part of, and I'm actually really looking forward to my lab placement in the next couple of weeks, months, or if not, my final placement in a few more months. So I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Jess. Brilliant answer. I can see lots of you are international students who are interested in wondering whether we're able to sponsor you. The simple answer is yes. So don't let that stop you from applying. Please do apply. There's some questions around work experience and internships. Emma, that's falling into your team, isn't it? But I think it's something in planning. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it is currently. I would suggest keep an eye out on our Thames Water careers page for more information on that. It currently is planning stage at the moment. Can't confirm any details, I'm afraid.
Brilliant. Just keep an eye out because it's coming. Sarah has asked, I can see someone's already answered this, how badly does the sewage work smell? It really, they obviously at times in hot summer they might, but generally not too bad. And a fascinating side of the business. I'm just going through to see if there are any more. And Luciana, there is an application form to fill in. You can submit a CV, but you don't need to, certainly from the graduate perspective. It's all in the application form. Someone has asked, sorry, go on, Harris, go for it. I'm scanning as quickly as I can.
I was saying there's a few questions on the deadline for applications. Do you know when the deadline is?
Yes, I saw that. And I have checked from my email trail that it is supposed to be the 16th, so next Tuesday. So if that is incorrect on the TARGETjobs website, I'll ask for that to be changed. But we are open until Tuesday next week. Okay, so there are still a lot of questions, but we have gone over. I think it's probably a really good suggestion for you to find us on LinkedIn, and we'll come back to you with any questions that we haven't answered already. Is that okay with everyone on the call?
Yeah, perfect.
Brilliant. Great to talk to you all today, and hopefully we'll see you at Thames soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.